A fight for its right to exist since its introduction. We may be saying goodbye to TikTok again this weekend.
That's right. TikTok has been facing increased scrutiny from U.S. lawmakers about its ties to the Chinese government. So joining us now to talk about the impact of the potential ban is Dr. Kary Oberbrunner from Cedarville University. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Hey, it's great to be here with you all.
So the first thing we wanted to ask you this Friday is the social media app has become a business tactic for many. So what happens to people whose income actually comes from TikTok?
You know, we're always teaching people that you should never be dependent upon one platform. There's a term that we say when you're canceled that you've been deplatformed. And if your entire business is dependent upon a social media platform, whether it's YouTube or TikTok, that's really bad business strategy, because it's like somebody saying that any day they can close the doors to your business. What we teach students is to basically get people's email with their permission. So even the younger generation who says, we don't use email anymore, email is central. And it's true about all internet marketing that unless you have their email, you really don't have anything. You can be susceptible at a moment's notice. Your whole business can be shut down.
And so if this ban does happen, is it even possible for creators to find similar success on other platforms?
Well, hopefully they've learned the skills about how to do video hooks and basically maintain engagement. If they have those skills, they can easily transfer to another platform. But we're seeing a lot of influencers and a lot of business models. What they're doing is they're using these platforms, but then they're inviting the client to opt in for discounts, or they're called lead magnets, but something that essentially the client willingly gives their email in exchange for something. And so, yeah, they can definitely transition if they're moving that way. But I would encourage people, let this be a look in the mirror. And if you're building on any platform, you really want to get to know your customer through their willing, surrender of their email.
Mm. And so what will this potential ban look like, especially this weekend?
You know, we've seen a bid come in from Amazon in recent hours for this. So I think that this is such a big, big deal that, we may see politics come in play, where there's this warning of a ban and maybe a temporary ban. But I think it's too big of an asset to simply just vanish. Someone is going to make a bid. The big question is, if it's bought, will the algorithm that's unique to TikTok still be maintained? And a lot of people think it won't be. In other words, TikTok's one of these platforms where a lot of new people like it because you don't have to have this huge followership. You can basically put something on and go viral quite by accident, and as a result it levels the playing field. Anybody can play on TikTok and maybe strike it rich, almost like the lottery. So in that sense, the question is, if it's sold, will the algorithm maintain?
That's good to know. Well, Dr. Oberbrunner, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate your insight, and we'll definitely reach out as this continues to develop. For sure.
Thanks for having me.